A lot of us have been trying to get into better shape, and many of the workouts we've been doing have been brutal, but they're nothing compared to what they were doing on the waterfront during a military fitness competition. They couldn't get to everyone, but fortunately, those who didn't get in on this day won't have to do without. You see it every day. People walking down the street, texting, checking their emails, talking on the phone. I mean, who hasn't done it, right? Yoga is believed to have a calming effect on adults who practice it, and it apparently works on babies too. The dogs are all taught to sit patiently, and they tend to bring out the best in everyone. Most people call police when there's a problem, but that's not the only time officers are in your area, and they want you to know they're here to help. In West Palm Beach, cops are being encouraged to interact with the public between calls.
Every time when you tell them, they just move out, and after that,
I know.
They're trying to build good relationships when there's nothing going wrong, so if they do have to come back when there is trouble, people will trust them enough to cooperate.
So you got to get out of your car. You got to see people, look at people in the eye, shake hands. How you doing? How's your day? Hansel, Freddy, Hansel y Arinen. ¿Son hermanos?
no.
Of course, some days there is very little time to spare for relationship building.
Señor, ¿cómo está?
Many of the calls they're sent on are the ones police dread. Domestic calls between relatives and friends where emotions run high.
So what? We could all grow up living in a Section 8 house.
And cops often find themselves in the middle.
I had sent her to the store and I asked her why did she spend my other $5 and she got all hysterical.
Your mom? Is it your mom or your sister or what? That's your mom?
Yeah, that's my mama.
And while the potential for making connections with people can be tricky,
Do you have any warrants, sir?
Oh.
Okay.
just as the media's cameras tend to show up wherever there's even a hint of trouble,
I'm just telling you, man, you can't be out here, dude.
police are also faced with the knowledge that everywhere they go, everyone they see, and even those they don't see, could have at the absolute least a cell phone camera recording their every move.
You cannot keep doing this. I'm not taking you to jail. I don't want to take you to jail.
The city recently bought body cameras for officers. They're not being used yet, but when they are, they will represent still another set of eyes and ears on police while they're on the job.
I have great supervisors that they have always said, whatever you do, do it as if you're with a family member, and always as if somebody, the public, is watching you.
It's a challenge they say they're up to as they work to keep their relationship with the people they serve cordial and the city calm. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for TV18. You see it every day. People walking down the street, texting, checking their emails, talking on the phone. I mean, who hasn't done it, right? It may seem like no big deal, but a statewide study shows that distracted walking is causing pedestrians to get hurt. They're walking into things and getting hit by cars. So the Florida Department of Transportation has started a campaign called Stop the Talk, Just Walk. That concept seems to be a tough sell, especially among the most distracted walkers of all, young people.
If you're like a place right here where there's not that many clutter or danger, it would be fine.
And while South Florida is known to be among the most dangerous areas in the country for pedestrians, many of them say they're not going to worry about it.
I can see you and talk.
Some say multitasking is just second nature, so crossing the street, climbing stairs, talking on the phone, doing an interview simultaneously, no problem.
I'm actually a pretty good multitasker, and I feel like it actually helps you develop skills for multitasking.
Researchers say they may not be as invincible as they think they are. Still, getting people to take the hazard seriously and put down their cell phones while they're walking could be an uphill battle.
Look at me, I'm walking. Look at me, I'm talking.
This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for TV18. When student barber Eddie Dillard has a client in his chair, he's the consummate professional. But it wasn't too long ago that Eddie was walking a very different path.
In and out of jails, pretty much homeless, burglarizing homes, carrying guns, serving drugs, whatever it was, I was doing it.
Now at age 31, the married father of 3 says he's finally ready to turn his life around, and he's doing it with the help of this beauty school. According to Hollywood Institute of Beauty Careers, many of the students enrolled here have checkered pasts, from dropping out of high school to gang violence, drug abuse, and long rap sheets. CEO Neil Heller says for some, learning how to check their tempers at the door is the steepest part of the learning curve.
So there are a lot of things that they did on the street that they can't do here. They may get into a discussion that they don't necessarily agree with the person on the other side of the discussion. They have to understand that in the business world, you can't just curse them out or throw a punch and expect to keep your job.
Eddie says he came to terms with that part of the deal before he even walked into class. Now he's focused on becoming the best barber he can be, supporting his own family, and trying to help the people who sit in his chair along the way.
I see myself not just impacting people like by cutting hair, but by communication. If I can have a conversation with a person, I can help a person in many ways just with a small conversation.
And while students like Eddie are getting a good head start in their careers, finishing beauty school is just the beginning. The rest is up to them. Eddie, for one, says he's definitely up to the challenge and ready to see where this new path he's on will take him.
As a barber, man, you go many places. As long as there's hair in the world, you can cut.
And that's exactly what he plans to do. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for TV 18. A long line at the drive-thru and business was brisk, but they weren't buying burgers here. They were trading in their guns.
All you gotta do is pull around right around to the RV and they'll go ahead and take care of you.
The gun buyback intended to take weapons off the street with the offer of gift cards worth up to $100 in exchange for anything from rifles that still work.
When you hear that click, that means it's working.
To handguns that don't, with West Palm Beach police standing by to conduct the transactions, no questions asked. Many of those turning in their weapons say they did so because they wanted to get the guns out of the house, away from their kids and grandkids.
I also have 7 grandchildren that I'm concerned that are around my house on a daily basis, find theyese things, and they'll wind up someplace where they shouldn't be.
Some say they'd been thinking about dumping the guns for quite a while, and this seemed like an easy way to do it. Of course, the gift cards help too.
I'm getting a gift certificate to Whole Foods. So I think it might be lobster tonight.
The weapons will be screened for possible connections to crimes, with those that are deemed clean destroyed. And while one day of trade-ins won't come close to ridding the city of all illegal weapons, many people say there is comfort in knowing that at least now some of them are out of circulation.
The handguns are only used for one thing, so I was happy to be able to do it. I was thankful to be able to do it.
This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for TV 18. Churches like this one are considered by many to be the heart and soul of the community. And on the North End, Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church has played that role for more than 120 years.
We have had to be so much for so many. Because of our particular predicament as African Americans in America, the church in the black community is more than just a worship center. It's a community action center, it's a social center, it's a political center.
And it was put to good use during segregation when African Americans, especially in the South, were faced with so many obstacles. 73-year-old Gwen Ferguson is the church's executive assistant and Sunday school teacher.
What words do they use in praising God?
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Ferguson says she remembers what it was like growing up around here during the 1940s, when simply stepping outside the neighborhood could lead to tragedy.
What I remember in crossing the boundaries, most of the time you would be, especially if it was at night, you would be arrested for being in an area that you were so-called not supposed to be in.
The first school for African American children was housed right here at Tabernacle. Later, during the 1960s, the church hosted prominent civil rights leaders like Coretta Scott King. Today, Tabernacle is a mosaic of old school tradition.
Clap your hands, help me lift Jesus. Stomp your feet, help me lift Jesus. Somebody help me now, help me lift Jesus.
And Generation Next. And on any given Sunday, they're still packing them in.
It would be very difficult for me to attend another church other than Tabernacle. I grew up in Tabernacle. This is my church, it was my family church, and I just can't see where I would fit any place else other than here.
And she's not alone.
Y'all be tired, so move your feet.
Sharday McQuay is working towards her PhD at Florida A&M University in Tallahassee, but she comes back to West Palm Beach every chance she gets to help lead Tabernacle's young dance troupe.
So I grew up dancing with Tehillah from an itty-bitty child around the age of 6 or 8.
The girls she's teaching now range in age from 12 to 21. Their talent is used to convey spirituality.
It's a dance trance, as we call it, to where we allow the music and the movement that we're doing to take over.
Choreography like this also helps the dancers connect the dots between a deeply troubled past.
Think like your grandma, your great-grandma, whoever was the eldest in your family, 80s and up.
And struggles that continue today. And they're definitely counting their blessings that this church has come a long way, surviving setbacks that seem to have made it stronger in the long run, rebuilding after a devastating hurricane, constructing a brand new education center right across the street, trying to serve as a beacon of light for whoever needs it.
It gives the community that peace that, you know, there is somewhere here to turn when times do get hard.
Hoping to be an inspiration for many years to come. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for TV 18.